Call to order. Statement pursuant to provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmittal of this notice meeting to publication to the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 3rd, 2025. Notice of this meeting of the governing body has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Present.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Here.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Excused.
Thank you.
We vote moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 5, the minutes, the March 6, 2025 work session. And the March 6th, 2025 regular meeting. Can I have a motion on that, please?
Make the motion.
Bill?
Second.
And Gina?
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes. Yes. Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 6, authorizations, events, New Jersey Seaside Stride, the date May 17, 2025, the time 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., location J Street, Ocean Avenue, J Street Boardwalk, J Street Supporter, conditional upon county approval. Did anyone have the opportunity to review that? Look good?
Yeah, looks good to me.
Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Joe made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Bill? Bill made the second.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Number 7 is the payment of claims, 2025-122, approving payment, itemized claims are set forth on the clerk's registered bill list for the period of March 7th to March 20th, 2025. Anyone have the
I have a
opportunity to
question
review?
for Karen, Mr. President. Karen, we have a bill here for $864.50. Miss Blanket, Miscellaneous, thank you, sir. Now, why is it beach patrol? Will they fix the beach something up there?
That's for fixing the lifeguard stands.
Oh, fixing the lifeguard stands. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Do I have a Bill made that motion? Bill made the second.
Thank you. Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Number 8, the municipal budget, 2025-123, introduction to municipal budget. Do I have a
I'll make the
motion?
motion. I'll second.
Bill made the motion, and who made? Joe made the second.
Thank you. Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilk?
Yes.
President Wilk? Excuse me? Thank you. Motion approved.
Number 9, resolutions, 2025-124, authorizing 2025 raffle license application, 2025-125, authorizing the reimbursement of designated water and sewer utility accounts, 2025-126, authorizing membership in the volunteer fire company, 2025-127, authorizing, appointing a chief financial officer, 2025-128, authorizing the sale of surplus property available needed for public use on the online auctions website. 2025-129, authorizing the designated miscellaneous refund for marina slip number G. 2025-130, authorizing the designated miscellaneous refund for marina slip number 154. 2025-131, confirming the appointment of member of the Borough of Seaside Park Environmental Advisory Committee. 2025-132, authorizing a salary increase for the code compliance supervisor. 2025-133, appointing an assistant manager for the Department of Beach Control. 2025-134, authorizing the designated miscellaneous refund for a memorial bench fee. 2025-135, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of the understanding with OPEIU Local 34 AFL-CIO for accounts payable stipend. And the 2025-136, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the OPEIU Local 32 AFL-CIO for the code compliance clerical duties stipend. Does anyone have any questions here?
I was just,
Please.
I would say before you go for station, two things. One is I'm thrilled that I keep seeing new members of the volunteer fire company, because as you know, they've been desperately seeking new volunteers, so it's always nice when we see other people that the chief recommends for that. So I think, the more that we have, the better, and I know a lot of these people that have been volunteering come with fire company experience, so that's always a benefit for us also. And then, obviously, we introduced Jamie before, but as someone on the personnel committee and also working with the finance committee, we were kind of up against the clock with Joyce, who's been doing a great job for us under shared services with Seaside Heights, but as we said before, we needed to give her back. And it's a very highly sought-after position across the state. And you not only come with experience, which of course we wanted, but we now have a good transition period so we could do the knowledge transfer before Joyce actually goes back to Seaside Heights. And of course, I'm sure she'll be available. So I'm really thrilled that we actually found somebody that I think will be a good asset, and, just overall comment that I think we've finally, at least I feel very good about the staff that we now have on board in all of our municipal positions at the borough, and I think everybody's been working really well together and is continually seeking ways to do things smarter. So I thank Karen for that, as well as everybody else on the council.
And Jamie comes with a lot of experience,
Yep.
which is
That was
great.
wonderful.
She does, and I have to echo Gina's, what's I gotta say? I have to echo Gina's comments also, and Bill's. We interviewed the people that we were looking to select for a CFO, and like I said, there's not a whole lot of people out there, so we were kind of getting a little bit angsty
There's
with.
not a lot of qualified people.
Well,
Stated that way.
qualified, yeah, there's people that we got, but.
We don't want to have to do it again.
We wanted quality, we got it.
Yes, we wanted somebody that would check off a lot of boxes, and when Jamie came to us, it was great. I mean, you might not have had a good time doing the interview, but I did. It was very nice, and Jamie, you checked off a lot of boxes. I think you'll be a great team member there, and Gina's absolutely right. I think we have a nice group there now in Borough Hall. It's a team. Teams win championships. So, welcome to the team. I'm so glad we have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank Sharon Joseph for putting in her application for the environmental committee. Thank you. Anyone else from the council? It's not required by law, but if anyone has any questions from the audience, please come up to the mic.
On the resolutions.
On the resolution.
Only on the consent agenda items, not for the whole, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Only on the resolution.
Only on the resolutions.
And then we'll have public comment.
Then we'll have public comment.
Hi, good evening. Again, my name is Ruth Fussell. I'm a non-resident. I'm from Manchester Township. First of all, I'd like to profusely apologize and in intruding on your borough budget meeting. My concern is very personal. It is de minimis compared to the concerns that you have. But just 1 minute, please. So last November, I stood in front of you.
Could I just interrupt you for 1 minute?
Yes.
This is only on the resolution portion of the this portion of the.
Oh.
Just wait till we get to the.
If nobody else is there, stay there, then we'll go to public comment.
We'll get to you, you can stay where you are. If there's no other comments on the resolution, specifically on the resolutions. Edie, please.
Edie Plank, 48 11th Avenue. I just have a question. Appointing assistant manager for the beach control. How many, I know we have Jake is the manager. How many assistant managers does this make?
3.
3. Is that what we
One
had?
assistant manager and 2 operations assistants.
Okay, is that the size of the staff we've had in the past, or is
Yes.
that an increase?
Yeah, so there's a manager, an assistant
Right.
manager, and then 2 operations assistants.
Okay, but I'm saying that's what we had last year and the year before. and all that. Okay,
We've always had 4 management staff there.
okay, that's,
So,
that's.
you know, they have different titles, but it's 4 management
That's
staff.
my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the resolutions? I will close this portion and ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion is by Gina Conley. Bill, second.
Thank you. Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
It's okay, no, not yet. Is there anything from council? I would like to give my little report then. Just an update on projects and the project status update. At the last Public Works Committee meeting held on 3/11, RV presented a conceptual plan that included sheathing a pump station. RV received feedback on the plan and will present a revised plan, and next committee meeting on April 8th, there will be a number of I-Bank funding sources that are being considered by the borough. All contain provisions for some level of principal forgiveness. Ocean Avenue repaving, the county cannot commit to a date yet as they are awaiting the results of a milling bid. The borough is also looking at the contingency plan should the county timing of the planned paving project not meet the borough needs. K Street roadway improvements. RVE submitted a proposal for the reconstruction of the roadway and drainage system on a portion of K Street and Berkeley Lane to improve tidal flooding issues in this area. The borough is looking to receive funding through the I-Bank for this project, and a pre-application meeting is scheduled for March 31st. RVE is currently working on the CAPR permit necessary for the project. Boardwalk replacement from Fifth Avenue to K Street. At the last Public Works Committee meeting held on 3/11, the committee received the plans, provided feedback to T&M. T&M has reviewed the plans with the New Jersey I-Bank, and once final comments are addressed to the plan, were submitted for their review and approval. The goal is to bid the project in late April or May, with the project awarded in early June for a post-Labor Day start. Parking lots number 1, 2, and 3, RVE prepared and discussed with the committee conceptual plans for improvement needed to the municipal parking lot. The borough is seeking I-Bank funding for the project, and pre-application meeting is scheduled for April 4th. Internal projects, preparation is being completed on the beach crossovers. The beach crossovers are the crossovers of the beach, the public works men are out there removing the sand that had accumulated over the winter. It has to be done before before April 15th. Otherwise, then we're monitored. Piping plover signs are out. The no-wake zone is south of F Street and north of L Street. DPW will be planting new star, butterfly, and berry bushes in the crescents. There's no change on Desert Palm, it's still court. Number 11, there's no change in the status of that. And 14th Avenue, near the dock, the boat ramp, the planks that were disturbed by the underground cable that was put in by JCP&L, we planted this week, and there's new planting, and there about 4 or 5 foot high cedars were put in, some other type of bushes. Hopefully they'll take.
They
And,
posted a bond.
but we also have,
They posted a bond.
they posted a bond for
Then
that.
they'll post a maintenance bond.
Then they posted a maintenance bond. But, let's hope for rain and that they take. Can't think of anything else. Anyone else from the council have anything?
No.
Nothing? Okay. I will open up to public comments. You may get.
Thank you.
Your name for the record again, please?
Ruth Bussell from Manchester Township.
Spell your last name, please.
Epperson Frank, Ussell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4 months ago, you had graciously ratified Resolution 2024-320 to honor Patrick Despoto, the guy who got hit by lightning at J Street, to save the 12 kids at the beach. I did not know that it is not within the bylaws of the borough to rename J Street in his honor. I was under the impression that that was so. So I wanted to propose, as a recourse, if I could just ask you, currently there's a memorial bench. Thank you very much. There's a memorial bench as of December of 2024 on J Street. But anybody can buy a memorial bench. If Governor Phil Murphy can honor Patrick Despoto with a ceremony at American Dream, reserved only for fallen firefighters and the police, I was just wondering if I can do something that's a step up of a memorial bench. It would be no cost to the borough. I would be prepared to foot the bill. Just either like a plaque on J Street, either on top of the, that J Street sign, or underneath. That is just what I'm proposing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
And I'm leaving his cards.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks now.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? The public, please.
Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue. I am speaking on behalf of the Environmental Committee, making a statement. Hopefully, Shorebeat is listening and they'll post this. The Reclaim the Bay has been established that it's going to be on April 16th at 7 p.m. in this chamber. There will be refreshments served, and it's open to the public, no charge. Second thing is, I know some people were laughing about it, but I heard some talk about some other people, and so I decided to ask you about dead birds being found around town and being presented to Public Works to try to ascertain the reason for the demise of these birds. And I was just wondering if anybody knows anything about any progress, any movement, any action to try to find out why these dead birds were found around town.
I think our administrator has an answer.
Mike, I can tell you, I've called Berkeley Animal Control, Department of Health, and NJDEP, especially the one day we had 80 birds watch up on Bayview Avenue. None of them cared. They just said, double bag them and put them in the garbage. I said, but don't you want to send someone out and test them? They said, our budget's blown, double bag them and put them in the garbage.
Terrific. Not surprised though. Thank you.
Mike, what time is Reclaim
April 16th.
7 o'clock?
What time is
7
it?
PM.
Thank
That
you.
was a great event last year
It was
when they came. It was
fantastic.
very well attended.
It was
It's
cool.
like, good for, I guess I'd say all ages, like kids, like learn so much and it's just.
It was very
really
nice.
good.
It was, yeah.
Please.
80 Plain 48 11th Avenue. I want to start by saying that the senior lunch yesterday was, again, another very, very interesting program about the Hindenburg. The gentleman that presented it, it's obviously his life's passion, and his presentation was not without a little humor, but was extremely informative. I think these senior luncheon programs are wonderful. They're not only informative or entertaining, as I know the one in December, but they're also a chance for socialization, which is important. And they're also good for people's physical being, because the luncheons that are are provided, Pat and Bill transport the luncheons.
That's
And
what
it's
we're about,
important to keep
Joe.
your seniors well fed. Too bad we can't be in the program to get gift cards. But I think it's an excellent program, and I applaud the town for continuing it. I'd also like to thank you, Marty, for your continued reports on the projects in town.
Thank you.
I think it's great that you include them, and your last month's report is going to be in the taxpayers' newsletter to keep the residents who are members informed.
Very good.
I'm also happy, I just have happy things tonight.
We'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Gina said, I'm thrilled to see that the fire department is growing again with another member. I think that's great. And welcome to Jamie. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nadine. Thanks.
Anyone else? Seeing no one else, close the public portion. Anything else from council?
Yes, Mr. President, we had an open house, lack of a better word, hiring badge checkers, and we had a good turnout. So if you know anybody who wants a job for Seaside Park badge checker, hopefully for the Seaside Park, hopefully, get the application ASAP, because they'll be hiring and they'll be left out. So, and also for lifeguards, I don't know the status of lifeguards, but I know the badge checkers, we have a lot of applications. Thank you, Mr. President.
Marty, we also, just another reminder, we have Triborough Spaghetti Dinner on March 29th, Saturday, from 5 to 7 at Triborough to benefit Triborough, Seaside Park Fire Department, and Seaside Heights Fire Department. So it's from 5 to 7, $20 a head, right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. $20 a head and BYOB. It's a fun time, so if you can make it, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Like to just have the last item? Jerry, anything?
Jerry,
You'd like to have a motion?
No, I was going to make a motion.
Jerry made the motion to adjourn.
I'll second, Mr. President.
Gina, second.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you all for coming this evening.